There's nothing like a great TV finale, one conclusive episode which gives a show's characters and stories, not to mention the viewers who've faithfully followed along, a truly satisfying send-off. Unfortunately, however, there are plenty of finales, often to really great shows, that just can't stick the landing. From controversial conclusions to all-out storytelling disasters, these episodes rank among the most frustrating TV finales ever made. The Sopranos. A prestige HBO hit which heralded the dawn of television's golden age, The Sopranos brought the medium to new heights, blurring the long-standing lines between the small screen and large. After 6 seasons and countless twists and turns, only one question remained to round off the show: what would be the fate of Tony Soprano? The finale's final scene is one of TV's most notorious. Tony, whilst out at dinner, notices a man walk into the restaurant. Is he just a fellow diner or a hitman out for blood? Are any of the other patrons of the restaurant out to get him? The tension builds as his family arrives and sits at the table one by one. But just as the scene appears to be moving towards a climax, the screen abruptly cuts to black. Tony's fate is left unresolved. The Sopranos ending is jarring, to say the least, and while many appreciate its subversive brilliance, it's hard not to empathize with anybody who doesn't. Dexter. Showtime's flagship crime drama had already fallen pretty far off the rails by the time it came to an end. At this point, the show had wandered into a bizarre final storyline and managed to botch the only good thread the show had left to follow: Dexter's terrible secret being discovered. Instead of any kind of definitive ending for the character, Dexter fakes his own death and escapes to Oregon, where he begins working as a truck driver. It was a bizarre, bitter, and inconclusive letdown for the few remaining fans of a once great show. Seinfeld. A precursor to some of today's most popular comedies about gangs of horrible people, Seinfeld built its brand on an uncomfortable kind of humor led by characters far more loathsome than your typical protagonists. In the process, it became one of television's most iconic and subversive shows. The series finale, however, is notorious for all the wrong reasons. Seinfeld's final episode found Elaine, Jerry, George, and Kramer on trial for laughing at a man who was being held at gunpoint. During the trial, every person they've wronged over the course of the series testifies against them, putting into perspective just how odious each character is. By the end of the episode, they're all in jail. A popular series ending with a glorified clip show was a highly unusual move, and the finale was deeply divisive amongst fans. Even Seinfeld himself admitted, "I sometimes think we really shouldn't have even done it."
Very good, very good. You know something? No soup for you! Come back, 1 year! Next!
How I Met Your Mother. Kind of spells it all out in the title, doesn't it? No matter how long the show ran, how many detours it took, or how many characters it followed, it was always going to be the tale of how Ted, the protagonist, met the mother of his children. As long as it answered that question in a gripping and believable fashion, viewers were going to be left happy. Spoiler alert though, they weren't. Rather than take the satisfying route, the show's writers decided to tack on a last-minute stinger, explaining that the mother passed away shortly before Ted started telling the story to his kids, who insist that the whole time he's actually been in love with his friend Robin.
No. This is a story about how you're totally in love with Aunt Robin.
This was a romantic pairing the show had attempted earlier before Robin moved on and married Neil Patrick Harris's character Barney. To make matters worse, the show's creators actually filmed a happier ending minus the whole death thing, and for some reason decided to go with this one instead. It could have been so good. True Blood. When the entire premise of your show revolves around a single major choice a character has to make, you'd better make sure you wrap things up in a satisfying manner. To say True Blood failed to do this is an understatement. Anna Paquin's Sookie Stackhouse, the small-town waitress who finds herself wrapped up in the world of the supernatural, spends the whole series trying to decide where her heart truly lies. Is it with Bill, the vampiric southern gentleman, or with Eric, the icy Nordic vampire lord? Or maybe she'll end up with Alcide, the jacked werewolf construction worker. Sookie, as it turned out, ended up with none of the above. Alcide and Bill are both dead by the time the show has come to an end, while Eric has just moved on. Instead, she ends up with some human dude. Viewers predictably weren't happy. Can you blame them? Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful's finale was, in many ways, actually pretty great. It wrapped up every character arc and convincingly resolved most of the show's plotlines, and with such a large ensemble cast, it was no easy task. So why was this episode so frustrating? Because nobody knew it was a finale. Some controversy exists as to just why Penny Dreadful ended when it did, but the important thing to know here is that the show's third season was never marketed as its last. It was only after the final shot had faded out and the words "The End" appeared on the screen that viewers realized they'd just seen their their last episode ever. For the show's many die-hard fans and followers, it was a painful and sudden demise, which, considering the show in question, does seem like a pretty apt way to end things.